Good evening. My name is Ray Dwyer, and this is Dr. Joe Dispenza's Meditation and Book Discussion Group. Tonight, we're discussing Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Chapter 4, Overcoming Time. For me, when I started this, the idea of overcoming time was really elusive. So I can really relate to other people having trouble with it. Because time isn't something you touch, it's not even something you measure. You measure through other things. Like if you have an object, you can measure the object, but time isn't something you can measure. It's something you experience. And so time is a difference between this experience and this experience. That's what I mean. It's just you get two scientists talking about time and you'll have a coma. It's terrible. I've got some engineering friends and they go into a real brain dive when you try to say, okay, what's time? And so but we're going to talk about how time applies to us in meditation. And it's really important. Time is one of the three lower energy centers. Uh, the lowest one is your self survival, your body. The second one is your environment. Are you safe? Your third one is time. And what I mean by time is, are you worried about tomorrow? Are you rehearsing traumas from yesterday? Um, that's the time that applies to us in meditation. On page 85, so much has been written about the importance of staying present. I could cite statistics on everything from distracted driving to divorce to support the notion that people have a really hard time staying in the present moment. That's time. If you're obsessing on something that happened years ago, that's time. If you're obsessing on an imagined future, and will I be okay? It's storm season coming, will everything, and it's obsessing and distracting you. That's time. These are things that affect you in your third energy center, your solar plex. It's interesting that they call you that because your sun plex is how we keep time. Let me add to that body of knowledge by expressing this concept in quantum terms. In the present, all potentials exist simultaneous in the field. When we stay present, when we are in the moment, we can move beyond space and time, and we can make any one of those potentials a reality. When we are mired in the past, however, none of those new potentials exist. It is such a hard thing to talk about to somebody who's new in this work. It's one of those funny language things. Every skill set that I've ever had has a language of its own. Um, I worked in very advanced electronics in a very DoD, Department of Defense, secure environment. And you go in and just listen to a couple of guys talk, and it sounds like they're talking in a foreign language because all the very specific terms for the electronics and the electrical designs and things like that. And it's not just the electronics, that was just my field. Uh, my wife was a registered state certified massage therapist. And talking about language, she would talk to customers and I would just kind of go roll my eyes back and like, what are you talking about? Because she had a language in her skill. Uh, and it goes on and on. I have a friend that's working in a startup company, and he's part of the uh, organizing the corporate development, kind of a not quite chief level, but directorate level. And he talks, and it's like, it's like, what are you talking about? He's got terms that I just can't imagine. So, uh, and that's how life is. Everybody's got the language. And so when someone that's been in Dr. Joe's work for a while starts talking about overcoming time and stuff like that, someone off the street will, their eyes will roll out, get glassy eyed, because we have developed a very narrow understanding of what we're talking about. So that is just to say that if you're new to this work, that may be a challenge for you. This chapter sure was to me. And so I'm not surprised when it's a challenge to somebody else. How do you overcome something that is not a thing to overcome? There you go. Page 86. Here is how it works. You have an experience which has an emotional charge. Then you have a thought about that particular past event. The thought becomes a memory, which then reflexively reproduces the emotion of the experience. If you keep thinking about that memory repeatedly, the thought, the memory, and the emotion merge into one, and you memorize the emotion. Now, living in the past becomes less a conscious process and more of a subconscious one. When an event happens, let's say it's not too traumatic, it's just an event. It goes into your mind, you have an experience, you have a chemical reaction, and you may remember it. But since it's not valuable to your mind, it was just something passing, then it's not wired in and you're not rehearsing it. If someone bumps into you in a rude way, uh, I don't know, there's a thousand things, talks to you funny, it looks at you threateningly. You have this minor, it's still, you weren't really hurt or anything, it's just this threat flare up. You have this event, a thought, chemical reaction in your body. That chemical reaction in your body reflects back up your brain, and pretty soon you got a loop. And if you don't choose in that moment to release it, you have now allowed your brain, not imaginatively, your brain to wire in the event. And when you wire it in, that means you will rehearse it in the future. And as you rehearse it in the future, it becomes part of your personality because this thing that offended you is now operating in your subconscious and it is playing you in the past. And since it's a subconscious thing, you may not even know on a day by day basis that you are responding to something years old. You might just think, well, I just got this thing. You have that thing because you lit some memory in. Not, you're not a bad person. That's how the brain works. So don't take that sentence wrong. But this event, thought, action, emotion started to you lit it in, and now it's rehearsing, and now you have the past keeping you from the present moment. That's a short, brief process of how this works. Sometime when I was in the first couple of years doing this work, I was just so frustrated with me. So how did I get so bound to all this darkness that I was? Well, it's called survival. That's why the system is there to protect you, to warn you, to say, remember this location, remember this event, remember this person. These are all survival memories that create a chemical reaction and cause a rehearsal in the nervous complex. And you will either respond again like you did years before or learn to diminish it. And we'll talk about that all through the day. Next page. I think you can see how potentially dangerous it is for us to cede control over our daily emotional response to memories and environment, to this automatic system. We let it happen because we were never made aware that we could not let it happen. I think I said that right. That we could stop it from happening. I didn't know how to stop it. I lived with nightmares and trauma all my life. I learned all kind of things about hypnosis and projection and meditation, and I'd go home and I'd be the same neurotic, angry man. Didn't know how to do what Dr. Joe teaches in this book. This was the most life-changing book of my life. That's why I spend my evenings helping others get through this book. Because if you can find in this book what I found, your life will change. There is a reason why Dr. Joe titled this book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That may sound like a cute title, but I'm telling you, if you get what he's saying here, you live in a habit life, and he's going to help you break those habits. We talked about the body, we talked about the environment, now we're talking about time and how time is a memorized rehearsal, and we're going to learn how to take care of that. We're going to discuss it anyway. Next page, page 88. This is called the conditioned response, that automatic response where you did something, and whether you did it, you rehearsed it deliberately or idly or just something in the environment, you were presented to it again and again and again and again. It is now in you. That is called a conditioned response. And masters of that is the military. The military train. The whole principle of military training is the conditioned response. And they're good at it. They drive those poor military guys crazy with conditioned response. They get so wired up, they jump like a cat, you know. But that's what saves their life. But you come out and you're still wired, so you got to be careful. So anyway, but that type of thing is the same. Uh, civilian life has its traumas. Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't want to go too much down that rabbit trail, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying only military has that, and just civilian life has lots of traumas. There's some hard people out there doing some hard things, and if you're caught in the environment of that, you'll just might do this. Get this. This is called a conditioned response, and the process occurs automatically. Why? Because the body begins to respond automatically. The cascade of chemicals reaction that is triggered within moments change physiologically, and it happens quite subconsciously with life with a little or no conscious effort. You just get in an environment, somebody talks in that way that you were talked to, and you go off inside. Yeah. This is one of the reasons why it is so hard to change. The conscious mind may be in the present, but the subconscious body is living in the past. You are a divided being. You may be disciplined and learning. That's why I said, please don't learn this and put the book on the shelf and say, oh, that was a cool study. This is a lab study. My goal is to help you so you can, throughout the week, sit down and do this. This isn't an academic thing. I am more of a coach than a teacher. At least that's my hope. And I will help coach you, not academically, but how do you actually do this? That's what the theme of this book is. How do you do this right? Well, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the doing. The academics are needed, just like in high school or college, lab tests for one thing or another. You get a little bit of academics, and then you go in the lab and you build it, draw it, do something. It begins to make sense that although we think or believe we are living in the present, there's a good possibility that our bodies are in the past. What's it mean my body's in the past? Your body carries a subconscious mind, and the chemistries that you're dealing with are reactions that you may consciously not even be aware of, but your body is living because it's being triggered by something in your subconscious. Could be your work environment, could be your home environment. I don't know. And your body is stressing out, and you're going, I'm doing fine. What's the matter with me? Well, what's the matter with you? Because you've got something in you haunting you that you haven't learned what it is and how to let go of it. And that's time. Your present environment may be fine. You've moved, you've made new friends, your life has changed, and you are still freaking out. You are still stressed out. You know, that's time. That's your body saying, your head may be okay, but I'm not. Everybody with me on that? Because this is a real thing I'm trying to talk about. Then mood. There's three words that go along with this particular trait of time. There's mood, temperament, and personality trait. A mood is a chemical state of being, generally short term, that is expression of a profound emotional reaction. Something in your environment triggered something. You drive from home to work, and today it just seemed like people were shooting at you. You know, you didn't just have to dodge one thing. Every mile, it seemed like somebody was taking a shot at your car. And by the time you get to work, you are like wide open adrenaline junkie. And maybe you made it through without any dents in your car today, but you are affected. And so you get in there and you walk in the office and everybody's roses and say, good morning, good morning. And you're going, ah, yeah. And the question now is, how long do you have to keep it? If something in that day resonates with your old self, that day may hang around for a while. If you're one of those people who have been blessed and your life is pretty peaceful, it can rain on you, and by the end of the day, you're fine. For some people, when they get a day like that, it hangs in there. Why? Because they have past time hanging in their subconscious that this hard day has triggered and is rehearsing, not even consciously, just doing chemical loops in their body. That's called a mood if it doesn't last long. When the chemical refractory period of an emotional reaction lasts for hours to days, that's a mood. It's just something that might take a few days to get over. You could say, I'm just in a bad mood. Everybody's heard that expression. But what was fascinating to me is at this point, you're not just in a mood, you're reflecting temperament. If that mood lasts for a month and somebody meets you, your friends say, oh, that's just his temperament, that's just how he is now. Now get this. It's the same event that originally happened that some people shook off. It's the same event, knowledge, experience, chemical, that some people had a mood and let go of. It's the same event now that goes in, creates a chemical reaction, and in the mind, an emotion and brain burn cells. And now this person, because of his past time, he can't seem to let go of it. Now it's just his temperament. That's just his temperament lately. When the temperament becomes permanent and you take it as your identity, I relate to that one because I did that kind of thing. It becomes your personality trait. I thought my personality was something I was born with. Come to find out, my personality is just things that got in me emotionally and I never let go. The good news of that is if all it is stuff that got in me, I never let go. When I go away, those traits change, that temperament goes away, those moods change, and you become a different personality. Think of that. That is hopeful, not condemning. When you really get the idea that my whole personality of fear and worry and anxiousness and chronic list making where everything has to be checked and double checked. And all of that is because of experience ideas that got in you, released chemical reactions in the experience. Those reactions get in the brain and start doing all of it. And that's your time center. That's your solar plex. You light that up in your meditation and you rest it for a while and see what stirs up. When you're new in this work, it can be rather disturbing stirring. Our personality traits then are frequently based in our past emotions. So to change our personality traits, we have to change the emotions that we've memorized. We have to move out of the past. And I got this page I got lots of notes on. Can you see my thing? I mean, just I got a note on the side of every paragraph on this page. On this one, I wrote, "This is why you do the work. This is the why. Why do I have to sit and do meditations and do this and just get him? Just this is the why. Because you can have good intentions for your day, but if you've got programs looping in you in your subconscious, you've got an enemy in your house. And until you clean house of time issues, you can clean house and tomorrow you're back at it. This is why you do this work." We're on page 91. Under the section, we can't change when living in the predictable future. If your future is a reflection of your past, being present moment isn't working very well because you're still holding the future grounded on what your past states. So your future self is dependent on your letting go of your past self. It's kind of confusing to talk about. Let me read this sentence. Once the thought becomes the experience, its end product is an emotion. You have a thought, and the thought processes through the cortex. It lights up your little limbic brain, and all those there's like 6 little organelles right there on the top, the thymus, the hypothalamus, the amygdala, and on and on. They release control chemicals, and they go down in the system, and in a heartbeat, the system is responding to a thought. If you don't have the wisdom and the awareness of how to, you got the thought, you got the awareness. What you're trying to stop is the loop. So when this thing starts looping, yeah, that was just a bad day. You diminish it. If you let it get angry in you, you're telling this how important it is, and this will burn the brain cells and the neural links for the purpose of reminding you because you have told it it's important. Once the thought becomes the experience, its end product is the emotion. You hear people, I hear people say, I'm using emotion to guide me. No, don't ever tell me you moving the emotion to guide you, because that's the end of the game. That's the effect to tell you if you got it right. Don't try to drive the meditation by the emotion. The emotion is the grade test. It's the test. It's the grade at the end of the experience. See if you got it right. If you go into meditation, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. You can tell your body to give the chemistry of happiness and not touch the issue. It is simply going to respond to you saying, "Give me these chemistries." The body gives you chemistry. You get out of meditation, you go, "Oh, I feel so good." Half an hour later, 15 minutes later, you're back to your normal life and you wonder what happened. Because you didn't really get in the cause of the loop. You just artificially said, "I want these chemicals." And the body says, "Okay." I mean, Dr. Joe teaches that. I mean, he said, "You want chemistry? Just think of the chemistry, tell your pineal what you want, and it'll produce the chemistry for you." Some of his advanced meditations are just say, what? It's just, they really are. And they're scientifically proven. And so don't use meditation emotion as your target. Use it as the end goal. If you want happiness, can you tune into what joy is? Can you, to have joy, you have to let go. If you're doing this, it's going to be hard to have joy. Okay, to have joy, I need to open my hand and be at peace. I want joy. And then the choice, the experience of release creates a new experience in the body, new chemistry, and you get new reaction. Let the emotion come last, not the target. Okay? Now the body is no longer in the moment or in the past. It's living in the future, but a future based on some construct of the past. If you're trying to say, I want a big house, I want a big house, everything you're saying is based on trauma or need or something of your past, the pictures and stuff like that. That's not really what your heart's call is. You might have heard me say before. I was with one group last year, and this one guy called me, and we're talking about he had some financial needs. He says, "Ray, I just want a bigger car. I just really want a bigger car." And I said, "That's about the most boring thing you could have ever told me to meditate. You asked me, you're going to take an hour of my time so you can have a bigger car? Are you kidding me?" It's like, what? He says, "No, you don't understand. My wife is sick, and my kids, the car and the truck that I'm driving now is just not dependable. I need a good big car." I said, "Now you've got my heart. Now I see the heart need." So it's not the car you want, it's a means for your family, and the car represents that means. And I said, "Oh, I can get into that." And so we had a really moving, energized meditation for about an hour on that, and it changed his life. His position changed and his income improved. In a couple of months, he had a bigger car. Um, so it's not about the emotion, it's about the heart and the things like that. Okay. One more comment, then I'm going to see if anybody else has something to say. Overcoming your nearly automatic habit and no longer anticipating the future requires the ability to live greater than time. And it says more on that to come. How do you live greater than time? That's part of the conversation we're having. Time rules us in our subconscious mind. When we become in charge of our subconscious mind, we have to step out of this habit and be in awareness. So, because our awareness isn't necessarily ruled by that subconscious program. I said that carefully. It's not necessarily controlled. If you don't take charge of it, your whole being can be controlled by. I mean, you could be just totally just Um, but that's how you take control of it, by going into awareness and saying, "I am here. I am now. I am," and driving that into your body instead of telling your body telling you, you're telling the body, "I am," and that breaks that identity bond with the subconscious mind, and that's how you take control and you start building it. That's how you begin to overcome time. The present moment is the goal. Some of you are athletes. Some of you are master musicians or master craftsmen of some time, and you know the word flow. I mean, just that is a common word today for extreme sports and artists and musicians. I've got a friend. He's like 90 years old. He's been playing the piano since he was a child, and he goes to shops and malls and stuff, and sits at one of those public and just sits and plays for an hour. He's 90 years old. He's got a cane to walk with, and this music, this melodic sound flows out of him, and people stand and look at this little old bald-headed man who kind of sits like, and he just um, and he could turn and talk to you. it's not even, it just flows. It's just fascinating. And his music is so gentle and just flowy. He'll be flowing. Well, that is beautiful. I'm not going to say his name. But, and he'll just have a discussion with you, and his hands are going. That is being removed from your subconscious program. And he's just one of the brightest examples that I know. There's a little bald headed, old, 90 plus year old man. Just amazing. I love him. He's just so cool. Okay. That is what we're talking about. Overcoming time. Anybody got any comments on that?
So far, so good.
I even I recognize your voice. Yeah, thank you.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Oh,
Hello.
yeah. Well, I think because I had you on speaker that happened. But yeah, this is a big deal. I mean, the time thing. Because even yesterday, with our automatic mind, that I don't know, for the last couple of years, I've been just um in this downward spiral of non-motivation, and then I was going to meet up with a friend of mine over at an event, and she had texted me and she asked me what time I was going to go, and I kept thinking, oh, do I really want to go? And then finally I went. So I was just working at changing my mindset. So I guess the question would be if in that time that my mind is saying, no, I don't really want to do this, then does it make sense to bring your emotions up a little bit higher or do a meditation to kind of change things at that time?
I would say all the above because it's a event personal thing. Because there's all kind of emotions, there's so many layers, and whatever you face first is not the truth.
Yeah. Because I know when I go to something, it's like, I had a great time, met new people,
Yeah.
learn something, and
Mhm.
it's like it's just this, you're just on this automatic pilot.
Exactly. That's why I said those first emotions are not the truth. Those first emotions are your survival protections to protect the sore, the wound, the pain hidden inside. And so the first work could be moments, it could be weeks, is to peel through those illusionary accusations and shields to get to that inner self.
Okay.
And so that's why I said I could. That's really what you do, and everything is about releasing. Uh, some people like the word forgiveness. The person you're forgiving is not the other guy. This is who you're forgiving. This is who you are releasing. You're not releasing the other guy. He can go take a hike.
Uh,
You're releasing your heart. When you talk to me, that's all I'm concerned with. You're releasing your heart. And I had primary big ways where I did it, like the 80-20 rule. I had some things that I did almost always, but some things were really, really hard for me to release because I wanted justice. I mean, I wanted just, and I made my life miserable because of it. I didn't make their life miserable. I made mine miserable. It's just like, why do we do that? Somehow it's built into this ego survival thing.
Yeah, I get that because there's certain people that I feel like they could either betrayed me or they just weren't living up to my expectation that I don't even want to deal with anymore.
Right. And you're holding a grief.
Yep. Yep.
Every little ounce of that you go through and you're clean until
Yeah.
your mind is quiet. I can remember the first day I came in here after a big breakthrough, and I came in here and I was doing my morning thing, and the first thing I always had to do is quiet my mind, quiet my mind. And I sat here and I looked around. It was like somebody turned the speakers off. My head was quiet for the first time in my life.
Nice.
And I'm sitting there what? And I get little angels now, and they just start laughing. He says, Ray, you did it. You completed it. You got your journey across the bridge. I
So how
did.
long did that take you then?
That was into my second year, 2+ years. But the
Oh,
journey of actually doing that work was 3 or 4 months, deliberately addressing my time pain, deliberately addressing the in your face stuff, deliberately addressing these, let go of it. Like, I don't care. I just want free. All I care about is to be free. I don't care if they're guilty. I tell people when I talk to them, they're asking me about it, so I'll tell about you. I don't care if you did it, they did it, or the sky fell on you and you were in the wrong place. The goal is all the same, empty hands. You want to go before the gate, before the angels that are saying, do not enter with empty hands. You go into the kingdom as a pauper and you are received as royalty. If you're holding on to stuff, you don't get in. So you allow yourself to go empty. I don't mean sell your house and your dogs and cats and go live in the field somewhere. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about heart burdens that this society teaches us. All of that is time based. All these things that we hold a grievance about is what this chapter is about. We're holding time. How can you be present here and now if your mind is screaming how important the
true.
past is? And your future, anything you plan on the future will be a reflection of what you're holding on to. So any future you build will just be built on the past and you get more of the same.
And we don't want that.
That's what this book is about. Breaking the habits of being ourselves. Release, release, release. And this is why this is where I learned that I thought I knew what my enemy was, and I peeled those away, and there was more there, and I peeled those away, and there was more there. I peeled it, and I went. So I was dealing. By the time I got done, I was dealing with my childhood angers. I was angry as a child. That's how I started my life. I took offense so strongly as a young boy that ruled and defined my life. That become the personality trait I just talked about.
Mm, okay.
I had an event, became a mood, became a temperament, and I held on to it. And now it's my personality trait, and I made it my personality reality. And it reflected in everything I did. So after I got past all these shields of what my current life has been like, there's this little boy going, "Rrr," and like, oh wow, I didn't know that was the real problem. I thought, how can my childhood? I'm in my 70s and I'm still dealing with childhood stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm still dealing with childhood stuff because I never in my life knew to deal with it. So I had to go and deal with it. When I say deal with it, I don't mean do some psycho battle rehearsing. I mean deal with it and forgive it. And that's where I learned I don't care if I did it, they did it, or I was in the wrong place and the sky fell on me. I don't care. You have one goal, empty hands. When you go before those angels that are guarding the gate to the kingdom,
Mm.
you don't get in unless your hands are empty. This is not a new teaching. If you look at some of the ancient Egyptian pictographs, there is a picture of Ra. He has died and he's being judged, and he goes before a scale, and they're weighing his heart by a feather. And he
Mm.
doesn't go through into the kingdom unless his heart is lighter than a feather. The Kabbalah has a teaching on key 11 about the justice key. If you want to choose karma, you're free to go back in your life and go choose karma. No one's stopping you. If you want to choose the higher kingdom, though, you've got to release all ties to karma. That's the Kabbalah. All ties. You've got to go in, and that's why I use the expression. You go into the kingdom as a pauper. Your hands and heart is empty. It takes courage, particularly with some of the intense survival mind that I had. I had to have courage and trust in what Dr. Joe was saying. But when you do it, when your hands are empty, you wait at the gate. You can't demand. You're not in charge of that gate. You wait at the gate and said, Father, here I am.
Mm-hmm. Ray, I want to say two things. I don't want to cut you off. It's Bonnie. Number one, what you're saying about that childhood stuff, if we don't deal with it, as we get older. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. As we get older, we don't deal with that stuff. It really starts coming up. I think every year it gets worse. So that's part of loving yourself, I think, is to say, hey, I'll be 70 in a couple of years myself. And you just want each year to be better, and I want to age with ease and grace. So that's one of the reasons I do the work, because I don't want to label my childhood, but it was different. Okay. And then secondly, pardon me? Yeah.
Challenging?
Yeah, it was challenging, but hey, I made it through and I'm still standing. So that's the glory. And then the second thing I was going to say, you got some preacher in you, boy, because you really are. I mean, the way you say stuff, for me, it makes it so applicable. And I really appreciate that. I am convinced
everything Dr. Joe teaches is a human experience. He makes it mystical as a marketing tool. Because, well, I'm a human, But I started this and I went, wait a minute, this is human. He can go around the planet, teach it to every culture in the planet, and receive it and have healings right there in front of them. Why? Because this is a human thing. That's the only requirement. Are you human? Do you have a functional pineal gland? If you got that, that's all it takes. And then you learn it, do it. If you don't do it, it don't count. Because remember, knowledge only goes here. Doing goes into the body. It's the doing that drives the experience in the autonomic nervous system. It's the doing, that autonomic nervous system, that responds and releases chemicals. It's those chemicals that triggers the DNA to release different proteins. You can instruct your proteins to be different. Wow, that changed my life. It's like, you kidding me? I thought I was an angry Irishman and that's just who I was. Dr. Joe says, no, you have just received the idea and let it rehearse until that became your personality trait. And I said, I can work on that. If it's a program, I can change it. And it did. Not overnight. Like I said, it took me 3 or 4 months of deliberately addressing this question. And then one morning I get up and somebody turned the speakers off. I was quiet.
I just wanted to add, for me, this is also wonderful. I like science a lot, and I see it as energy, and there's no end to the energy. Yes. But anyway, what I'm saying is those things, I finally saw it as, like I had some bad experiences in a relationship, and I do think about it again and again. And now I would try and okay, stop thinking about it, whatever, release it, And these meditations are great. And now what helped me too is to see it as like a pocket of energy in my body that I need to get out of there so that I can get the new energy to flow through. I mean, they're just like pockets that I need to clear so that I have a clear slate of a beautiful field that's completely clear. Like that. I feel like that.
Yeah.
I'm working towards that.
Yeah. When I'm doing a meditation with somebody and I'm really tuned in, I see those pockets as shadows. Their basic body are kind of luminous to me, and I'll see shadows.
Hmm.
And my job is to help that person release the shadow because they're holding on to them, which is why they're there. And so I help them just release, and just then I see the shadow just kind of, it's a really cool
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
can feel
exactly
it.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I can feel, and I'll be like tapping or clearing. Um, there's so many techniques now, but this is
Like, sure. But the
yeah,
goal is the same.
same.
The
Yeah.
goal, the end goal is empty hands.
Same.
We're
Mm.
holding on to the shadow and just let it go, forgive it. Whatever comes to you, just release. You're not even trying to understand it. You're trying to simply let go. You don't care why it rained in Texas. Who cares? Let it go.
Mm. Yeah.
Very good little chat. Anybody else? This is a short chapter, so we got plenty of time to talk. Okay, I'm over on page 93. Live your desired new future. First paragraph. So here's another of those big questions. If you know that by staying present and serving or pruning your connections with the past, you can have access to all the possible outcomes in the quantum field, why would you choose to live in the past and keep creating the same future for yourself? Why wouldn't you do what is already in your power to do to mentally alter the physical makeup of your brain and body so that you can be changed ahead of any actual desired experience? Why wouldn't you opt for a living in the future of your choice now, ahead of its time? That was a really odd paragraph to me when I was first learning this. How can I live a future that I haven't lived, that I don't know? Because if I know it, it's a reflection of my past. So if you think you know your future, you just fell in the trap of just rehearsing it from the past. And so I was like, what's he talking about here? Yeah. I had a couple years where I didn't have friends to talk to, so I'd get these mind traps and go round and round and round. It's like, I don't know what he's talking about. It comes to small steps, and someone once asked me, I am so depressed. I don't know what I want. I don't know what my life call is. I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what my desire is. I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm going to work and I'm dying inside. I said, I told him, I am very careful about quoting scripture. I just really resist anyone bringing scripture into this group, but there is one scripture that is just so right that I bring it up a few times. And it says, and the Father says, I give you the desires of your heart, not the wants of your brain, the desires of the heart. Why is that so important? Because everything starts with a heart's desire. Your purpose, your goals, your life direction, until you know what rings your heart true, you're just going to work. I mean, that's what everybody does in the Western society. You go to work, pay your bills, get old, and that's the end of the story. Dr. Joe has a relatively new course that I took last December. It's called the Abundance Course. Don't let the title fool you. It has little or nothing to do with making money. It has to do with an abundance of yourself. I took it and went, wow. And I went through it a second time and went, wow, again. I went through it a third time. And I'm telling you, I've been in this work for 7 to 8 years now. And that little course adjusted me. That word purpose is so powerful in my mind now. Anybody here taking it? Nancy, did you go through it? I see you grinning like maybe you did.
I've experienced those kind of things. Now I'm looking forward to it. Just wrote it down, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, look it up on the
I steady,
It's
that kind
not
of
cheap.
thing.
I think he wants over $300 for it. So it's like, but I
Mm,
tell you, if you let your heart get into it,
yeah, because your heart is the most abundant carrier of abundance. I don't know
yeah,
how to explain that. It's much more than wealth. It's much, I think, that's what
yeah,
but I'm learning too, but it just
yeah.
feels right. Feels,
Once you set free of time
yeah,
and you turn on your heart's purpose, you can still go to work, you can still pay the bills, but
yeah,
something in you will make the rest of your hours different, and you'll
yes,
start doing things different. And
yes.
this was just December, I went through it, and my purpose, my heart's direction is to help other people find their healings like I did. I wake up to it. It's just my
Beautiful.
story is so, just there's 1,000 people have been healed of cancer, but not like I did. Not, not skin cancer, colon cancer, bone cancer, PT. I mean, it just goes on. It's like, Ray, you're just bragging. I know. I don't, just like get over it.
And
But so I just to to help people learn the human thing I've done that is all about Joe's work. If I can help them take that journey, that's my purpose. And in doing so, I've written one book. This is since December. January I wrote a book, and now I'm in the ending of my second book. I haven't
wow.
published it yet, but I'm in it because if I can reach more people, maybe I can change somebody that I'll never meet by having a book out. That is my obsession with purpose. That little program turned on purpose, and I couldn't do it if I hadn't gotten free of body, environment, and time. Because until because that's your controller. That's your life. That's your survival. You've got to learn how to solve that riddle. Ah, Sonia, there she is again. She put a link to the abundance course at Dr. Joe's. Very good, Sonia. Thank you. Yeah, that's he's always making courses, and very seldom do I just worry about it. But that one that one was something, and it's very direct. He doesn't go off on any. There's meditations that go with it. There's exercises that go with it. The whole idea is it's not something you learn academic. It's like this. It's something you learn to do and become. So, but it's a little pricey, I think. But that's just my opinion because I'm not flowing with the money. You know. So anyway, that was part of tonight's conversation. Is what Deb was talking. I think it was Deb that brought that to my mind. All right. I don't see any more hands up. Page 94. The greatest people in the world have demonstrated this. Thousands of so-called ordinary people have done it, and you can as well. You have all the neurological machinery to transcend time and make this a skill. What some might call miracles, I describe as cases of individuals working toward changing their state of being so that their bodies and minds are no longer merely a record of their past, but become active partners taking steps to a new and better future. That is my definition of my experience. Oh, Olga, hi, girl. I haven't seen you for a while. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to address people directly like that. uh, so anyway, so that paragraph defines me very well. It's a skill, and I worked at it and worked at it and worked at it, and I had my moment, and I changed. I took it. Two words that we'll go through that I'll bring up since that's a big part of my story is one is surrender, and that I had to clean my time, and I had to then surrender my survival. And then once I did that, I had to declare myself worthy. I was the most unworthy person I could think of with all the darkness and pain that was in me. And yet, that's a requirement. That's your foundation. You go before the kingdom to receive the gifts. And if in you is crying, I'm not worthy to receive it, the angels go, okay, come back when you are. You go, wait. Just wait. He says, you mean all I got to do is declare it? He said, all you got to do is declare it. And if you want to declare that you're not worthy, I'll accept that. Let me know when you're ready. I go, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, worthy. I am. And when I said I am in that meditation, the heaven didn't even wait for me to finish the statement. It just blew up and I was electrified. You ever seen these pictures of people in Dr. Joe's conferences where they're thrashing on the floor like that? I did that right there in the floor next to my desk. Tears flowing. I'm all by myself, just crying and being electrocuted. Yeah, I did. It was just it's wow. And but I had two: first surrender, then worthiness. And so you can expect some version. Those might be my words, but the principles are true. Surrender says, I'm giving up this ego. Worthiness says, I will receive. If you say, I'm not worthy, that means you're telling this energy, I'm not going to receive. So there's different ways of different words, different mindsets that reach the same point. So don't make a magic out of those words. Transcending the big three. At this point, you understand that the main obstacle to breaking the habit of being yourself is thinking and feeling equal to your environment, your body, and time. Otherwise, then learning to think and feel be greater than the big three is your first goal as you prepare for the meditation. I agree. The first level of this work is to break and free of the habit of your body's safety. Everybody's my enemy. I'm not safe. My environment is threatening. Everybody's bad guys. There's boogeymen behind every tree. Time. My past is horrible. My future is going to be horrible. You've got to let go of that. And the more thoroughly you let go of it, the more you do. Until you get to the point where you just surrender the fight, and then you go through the door. What were you going to say, Nancy?
Oh, I'm starting to see it, and I'm starting to practice where it used to be automatic. Like I didn't even know how much I thought about the past until I started noticing it, and whatever. But now I'm at least noticing it as like I see myself spinning in that neural pathway, and I just go, wait. And now I'm starting to see it and go, okay, that's a past one, and at least I'm starting to like, I'm out of now I'm thinking about the future again, and I'm starting to like come back, and it's like dialing my radio back to my station, kind of like I'm kind of
yes,
feeling,
I like that.
Yeah,
and you dial back to the tune of your true self.
Yeah. And so at least I'm starting to see that. And so I appreciate this a lot.
Very good. Yeah. Tuning is a metaphor that I'm all into. As an electronic tech, tuning was the issue. If you can tune it, it will work.
I think it's a frequency we each have, honestly, that is so beautiful. It's beautiful. Can I say this one thing that blew my mind when I first heard about 10 years ago? And Eckhart Tolle, probably a lot of you are familiar with him, and he's pretty much tuned in all the time. And in the very beginning of The Power Now, he actually writes this: I have no use for the past and rarely think about it. And I was like, whoa. And that statement I had to think about for months. But anyway, just things like that, where you're helping me to realize just like all the things that I think about that aren't really real, like at all.
Yeah, they're not significant now. I mean, think of the memory. Yeah, think about the memories that you had 20, 30, 40 years ago that you are still emotionally disturbed over.
Yeah.
What the hell? We're crazy. What a crazy species. No other animal on this planet is disturbed by something that happened 20, 40 years ago. I mean, they might not be disturbed by something that happened a week ago. I mean, just what are, this is an awesome memory tool. And so what we need to do is, first of all, understand those events did happen, and you might as well say they're written in the book of life. What's not written in the book of life is your interpretation and relationship to them. Yes, I was in a fight for my life. And yes, I was angry and I fought like a demon. So what? I was there to do a job for the government and I survived. That is the limit of it. Forgive yourself, forgive your enemies, and go on, because that's his story too. He was there because of his government. He'd rather be home with his little garden and his family, but his government put him there. My government put me there, and we just fought for our life. Why would I think I was any more evil than I thought of him, and vice versa? You let it go until you are peaceful with a traumatic, ugly event. Yes, it was traumatic. Yes, it was ugly. So what? Today, look what I've got today because of what I learned. I've been married 50 years, and my wife and I still sit and hold hands and watch evening television. How cool is that? It's just, we sit and look at each other and go, wow, how did we do this? We did it by learning how to let go of the hurt that we carried, you know, and don't think that first layer is real. That first layer is part of the illusion that tries to chase you off. You know, that's just the human way. I mean, it's not because you're crazy or bad or anything like, no, you're just human, and these are survival tools. You have these because they helped you survive. That's why they're there. That's why you did it, because it helps you survive the moment. Don't accuse yourself. Don't berate yourself. Oh, look at it. No, interpret it correctly. It is a survival thing in the human mind. Take the guilt and shame off it. Now you can just say, oh yeah, I've been thinking about this all wrong. I'm just angry because that's my survival. I'm safe now. I'm good now. I can release this now. And devalue it and release, and always replace that moment with something. Look what I'm doing now, or look what I'm working on doing. Oh, have you seen the, and I tell my memory as if it's a spirit. Have you seen what I'm doing over here? Look at that. Now you go sit down. I got something good to do over here. I did stuff like that to find a way to teach my mind that that's gone and I'm doing this really cool thing now. I did stuff like that. It's whatever tools and tricks you can play in your mind to devalue that ugly past until you get to the heart of it. And the heart of it, for me, it was my childhood. That's a whole different story. That one is painful and it's slow. And it's all you can do is release, release, release. Yes, that was ugly. Yes, that's ugly. I'm sorry. That's ugly. I love you so much. You know. Okay. I bet that at some point in your life, you've already been able to think greater than your environment, your body and time, those moments when you transcend the big three and what some people call the flow. We talked about a moment ago about my old friend that's 90 years old and can't hardly walk, and yet he just flows at a piano because he's been playing the piano since he was a child. And it's just beautiful. I knew a guy who's tuned in meditator, and he's a worker. He's kind of an engineering head, but he's also a deep meditator. And he has downloaded, he tells me, I downloaded 2 businesses And at the bottom, at the end of the download, I had a stack of papers over 3 inches thick. And I took it to the lawyer. We formed a company, and we each made millions of dollars on it. And like most technology, it obsoletes in a while. So after about 5 or 8 years, that company was falling behind because new technology, new ideas. So he went back to work meditating, and he downloaded again another stack of papers, and he got an upgrade for his other one, and went to that old lawyer, and they set up the business model and did like this and got all the things and started another business, and they made millions again. For real. That one obsoleted. Now he's just working for a company doing something, but he's been talking to me lately and he's getting another download. And it's like, oh my God, Richard, how come I can't learn? I've done some cool stuff. How come I can't do that? This is, well, we each have our gift. And so he's downloaded another one, and he is, and this one I won't even tell you what it is because it's like, say, what? But it's world class. And it is, if he gets it to a completion point, it will be significant. Some people just, and he knows how to go into flow. And his flow is downloading businesses. How many of us wouldn't like to have that skill? Oh my goodness. I wish I could teach that and people would line up. But he can't even teach it. He just does it. He's not a teacher type. But yeah, so flow is that place where you get out of this world, you put away your time struggles and your survival struggle, and you rest in the present moment, and you listen, and you receive. You are worthy. You are worthy. Take those hands off this and open them up. Go in as a pauper and receive the gifts that are waiting for your abundance. You already are a divine child. You already are a being of light. You already are eternal and beautiful. You already are. My job is to help you find you. And I say that with all the sincerity that I have. When I first sit down to write, I often have many other things in my mind, my busy travel schedule, on and on. On good days, when the words seem to flow out of me, it's as though my hands and my keyboard are extensions of my mind. I'm over on top of page 95. And that's how it works. You get tuned in and you receive and you work with it. But think of the foundation that has to be laid for him to do that. First of all, he has to be confident with the words that are coming through him. He has to be confident with the tools that he's using. There's a whole bunch of skill sets that must be developed to get to that point. An athlete, when he goes into flow, he didn't do that the first month. He had a whole bunch of preparation, body and mind, breathing, to get to the point where the body had the skill set and the mind had the skill set to release and go into flow. It's not just take a pill and go into flow. Well, I guess pills might do it, but I don't do those. And it's letting go and building that skill base. That's why practice. Dr. Joe says practice, because there is a skill set in doing this. That's why over on the other page he says this is a skill that you develop. And as you develop that skill, in the opening of tonight, I said, when it's familiar, don't go somewhere else. Expand. When that's familiar, expand until you can lay your head back and the universe just peels open to you like a book. It's there for you. You already have it. My part is to encourage you to explore it. Very bottom of the last paragraph. With practice, I've been able to take control so that these experiences bring in the flow, are not as accidental or serendipitous as they were at first. In other words, the incidences that you step into flow are not accidents. It's because you have developed the foundation and earned that flow moment. Overcoming the big three to facilitate the occurrence of such moments is essential for losing your mind and creating a new one. Olga, I just love the idea of that silly pine cone over your head. It has such distracting symbolism. The symbolism is the pine cone is the symbol of the pineal gland. I'm looking at it, go, oh, I just got to tell her. It's just like, look at that symbol of a pine cone over her head. I love that. Okay, I'm sorry. You distracted me again. Oh, look at that. So anyway, so that again, just oh no, she's embarrassed. Okay, so anyway, so that's my discussion for overcoming time. Somebody talk to me for a little while now. We got plenty of time.
Was just filling in stuff, but just
Okay.
one thing that always helped me think about flow is that, like you said, it takes time. I mean, sometimes you can start dancing and you're in the flow. That's awesome. I
Right.
mean, all the time actually, but to get flow, like when I play my I played my sax last night after had been a long time. I'm feeling happier studying this book and different things, but definitely I like to improvise because it gets me out of my head, and I just try to get into that. But I heard Jane Fonda say, and I'll never forget it, in like 1981, and she was in that big era where she was bringing exercise to a lot of people and stuff like that. And the thing she said is, through discipline is freedom. And I knew that's when I knew. I said, oh yeah, that's right. You have to put the work in. And that's why I've dedicated this year to really try. Well, the next 5 years, who knows? But I
I've got
appreciate
it.
what you're saying because it's serious. It's work. But
Yes.
it's joyful work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that got me through my first 2 years before I had any friends was I got the expression that from Dr. Joe, you do the work, you get the promise. My self-testimony that is listed in Race Quest Body and Mind is called the work and the promise. And I that was my first self-talk, and I think I talked for 2 hours because I got so much to say. I couldn't believe what happened to me. So I go blah 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 blah. I could, just are you kidding me? This old veteran who couldn't walk straight because he was so angry at everything, and now look what happened to me. And so I so it was a challenge when Dr. Joe's group in 24 here in Dallas asked me to do a testimony. And I said, how long I got? You got 15, 20, 30 minutes? You go, oh no, you got 3 to 5 minutes. I go, how do I do that? I can't even list the stuff. If I had a list, I couldn't read it off in 3 to 5 minutes. So she said, okay, just do the high points. And so that's what that statement come from, because it's like, oh my goodness. Because I see my life and I'm like, oh my goodness, look what Dr. Joe did for me. Because I took him literally. Do the work, not learn the work. Do the work, and then you get the promise, not the other way around. You don't get paid until the work is done. And it takes work to get to that point of surrender. It takes work to get to that point where you understand receivership and worthiness. It's not worthy because my society screamed programs into me. And to do those two things, surrendering broke my military code. Worthiness broke a religion code that I learned as a child. And they were like, I didn't even know they were it. I knew the surrender thing was in me, but when I was confronted with worthiness, it's like, what is that? And they just said, okay, we'll come back when you're ready. You go, yeah. It's like, yeah. And and that's where I learned I am as separate from this. And I don't mean as an idea. I know it now. And it's a seed that was planted, and I'm still learning it. And many of you heard me say, I am. I am an energy being. I am an electrical energy being. I am a luminous electrical energy. I am an eternal luminous electrical energy being. I am divinely created, the luminous electrical energy beings, and I am an inheritor of the kingdom and to the infinite potentiality. I am. And that is not a proclamation like I'm speaking an affirmation out there. That is a declaration to this body that thinks it's mortal. I go, you might be mortal, but let me tell you who I am. And what did that do for me? Summer of 2024, I was tested phase 1, fully lymphocytic leukemia. Military gave me 100% disability for it 5 years before that. So I've been getting my disability have been my leukemia blood markers have been growing for 5 years, and I couldn't find that, for lack of a better word, that magic, that frequency. In July of 24, it was confirmed I am now fully phase 1 lymphocytic leukemia. And they want to start testing me every few months for blood damage and organ risk. At that level, my blood's getting muddy. And so I found this. Well, I found this is right. It was presented to me. And so I started saying that. January 25, 6 months later, 6 months, because they were testing me every 6 months, looking for organ failures and stuff like that. 6 months later, my blood markers had dropped just outside of normal, and my 100% disability went to 0. I am not healed of leukemia because I still have elevated markers. But it's just like what's above will never affect me in any way. And the VA certified this by saying, okay, you're healthy. You don't need any disability anymore. Whoa, can I be sick a little bit more and get the money? It doesn't work that way. But I did it by understanding I am not this. There was something in me, in my bones, that was still holding on. And I had to go, I am. And I said it again and again and again. Just like when I say it to you, I get this goosebump rush through me. And in 6 months, I self-healed leukemia. Look that one up on the AI and see how often you hear about that. I am not talking from book stuff here. I'm telling you what I do. And this will change your life. If don't do what I do, learn the principles behind what I do and make them work for you. My path is a world of difference from your path, but the principles are the same. That's what I want you to get. And the principles of my healings are a human thing. They're epigenetically thing. I changed my energy and my body responded, and the leukemia markers in my body went away in 6 months. So low. It's still above normal. So I can't say I'm healed, where that little blue star that says I'm healed. No, I can't do it. It's a little bit of normal, but it's enough for the VA to take all their money and go home. It's just, you don't need us anymore. You will. True story. This happened just last year. So, I'm not sure why I went off on that story.
But no worries, you'll be selling so much of those books. Yeah. Anyway, wishing you well. Yeah. That's so awesome. What a great story.
Yeah, I wrote a little book. It's called 12 Meditations of Christmas. It's $15. Selling it on Amazon Prime. And it's 12 steps to a basic type of meditation. It's ideal for someone who doesn't want the woo mysticism and meditation and just wants to learn how to have peace. I wrote it for someone to buy off the shelf. It's modeled after the song, The 12 Days of Christmas. And I got a download on it. It says, oh, I can do that. And I started writing it in my WhatsApp page. And then people said, put this together, and it evolved. And one day I was listening to the song Drummer Boy. Many people know that song, Drummer Boy, boom, boom, and I have nothing to give. And I'm thinking, I'm an old guy. I got nothing to give. My angels went, poke? What are you talking about? I said, what do you mean? What, poke you? You're just, I got nothing to give. He said, you got words. Give words. That's your music. And I went, oh, I can do that. I can give words. And so I started putting all my writings about 12 Days of Christmas in a book, and it's beautiful. I got nothing but love reports back on it. It's 12 Meditations of Christmas. And I use the symbols of the song, the partridge in a pear tree, two birds, and 11 dancers dancing, and the drummer boys, just all the way through. I use the 12 symbols to carry the story. And each symbol is only 2 pages. It's not like I've made a essay. I just made a little beautiful statement that got to a point, your next level of meditation on each day. And 12 days is when the drummer is the music. That's your flow point. The drummer is a present moment point, because what is he doing? All he has is his drums, and he becomes the music. That's the point. That's the present moment. That's where that book it leads to. If someone could really see the magic in what I did, that's what the story leads to the best of my ability. It's called the 12 Meditations of Christmas.
Okay, 12 Meditations. I'm on Amazon now. Okay.
Yeah, 12 Meditations of Christmas. You'll see me as the author.
Okay, cool.
I didn't look for any other books that were named like that. It's just like, I don't know, I've got to do this name. And so I put it up there, and there's another book almost the same name. So you got to look for it, and then look for my name.
Okay.
I got a copy of it around here somewhere, so I could show you the cover. And what I did with it. Yeah. So anyway, it's $15, but it's a nice little book. I'm in the final chapters of a final chapter, the final work of my next book. The manuscript is written, but I've got details to do to it. It is 100% symbolic story. I mean, if you're not into symbolism, you won't get past the first chapter, because you won't know what the world is he talking about. So I keep thinking I need to mellow out my chapter 1 so I don't lose people in the first chapter. But I see the symbols so clearly, I can't not do it. It just became so maybe by the end of next month, I'll have it on the market. It's just called Clay Cup. And I mean, we're just vessels. That's all of us are. And so I made a story of a vessel, and the journey that he takes for his moment in the sun. Yeah, that one's a full novel. That one's a 191.95 Word document pages. So it's a full novel. But it'll be another month before that one gets listed, I think, at least, because there's lots of, writing the manuscript's one thing, and putting it together as a book is a whole nother journey that I knew nothing about, and I'm having to do it all myself. So, but it's not up there yet, but my first one is. So why am I telling you all that? Well, because it goes back to that darn abundance course. I was peacefully ignorant and bored until I took that abundance course, and it turned on my heart and my purpose, and it still is echoing. What is, okay, Ray, your purpose? You going to walk toward your purpose today? It's just like a bright light of it. And so, yeah, that course got a hold of me. And so now I'm writing, and that's how I'm meeting my purpose.
It's great.
Yeah. I need someone to help me translate my 12 Meditations book into Spanish. I ran it through the translator, and it gave me a Spanish book, but the language that I use is so specific in its symbols. And I know Spanish turns sentences around, and I don't know Spanish. So I need someone who knows what I'm trying to say about meditation and knows Spanish and English, so we can say, I'll give you the book in Spanish, and then we can get on the phone and go, okay, this is what it says in Spanish. And I say, okay, what does it mean to you in English? When you read that, tell me what it said in English, you know. And I haven't found anybody to do it. I've given the book to a couple of people, and they go, I don't want to do this. So I'm still
Have you
looking
tried
for something.
Fiverr? It's a place called Fiverr.
Yeah,
Look
they
at
want to be
there.
paid. They want to be paid.
Oh, okay. Oh, you need somebody. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I need somebody. Well, it's only a 24-page book, and it's just it. Yes,
Right.
it takes
Right.
a few hours, but I need somebody who's willing to give me heart and not a hard time.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if a professional could know the heart of what I'm trying to do anyway.
Right. You
That,
got to find the right niche for that, the right
right. So I need
combination.
somebody who
Mhm.
does Dr. Joe's work and understands breath and understands centering
Mm.
and the symbols that I'm using. What did I do with that book? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, let me see it because I'm looking here and I'm having a hard time finding it.
It's a simple little cover.
Mhm.
The title is 12 Meditations of Christmas.
Okay.
Okay. One partridge in a pear tree. Okay, isn't that cool? All the art is mine. I got on Dolly. That's an art program on the computer, and designed the art myself. So in this is the copyright, and the copyright is all mine.
I found it. Okay, I got it. Mhm.
Day
Mhm.
one. Today is simple. It's not about achieving anything. It's about arriving. That's day one. You start by sitting and arriving and getting centered. That's where you start. That's day one. Day one, a partridge in a pear tree. One bird, get centered, be one. That's where you start. You've arrived. And if you practice that, if you've never meditated and you practice that, you've started.
Mhm.
Yeah. I got my picture on it. Hey.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, I'm boarding it now. Mhm.
Oh, well, thank you.
Mhm.
And then the 12th day, today is the day the work stops being something you do and starts becoming something you are. That's flow.
Mhm. Good.
That means you've
Mhm.
made it past the work and the learning and the breathing and the centering. The day 12, it stops being something you do and starts becoming what you are. That's overcoming time. You're no longer struggling to get, you know,
Right.
and I put it in the little book. Look at that. Oh, that's so cute. People like it.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. I'm going to blame it on that crazy abundance course. He made me do it. Okay, we're having fun talking, but I think we're just about done. Anybody have something to say?
Sure.
All
Nope, I'm
these.
excited. I can't wait to get the book.
Oh, good. I'm glad you got it. And
Mhm.
I think I've got nothing but good statements about it.
I
Oh,
ordered it as
good.
well.
Huh?
Oh, good.
I ordered it as
Mhm.
well, but can I ship it to you and you can sign it? No,
Oh,
I don't know. No,
yeah.
no,
If
I'm
you come
kidding.
to the Dallas retreat in May, I'll sign it.
Oh, I wish no, I'm not there. I can't manifest that yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'll just keep working on the books.
yeah.
But thank you for writing. It's fun to see that you found your purpose. It's so beautiful when you find your, you know,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
anyway,
And your purpose can even be simple. I mean, like purposes can, like I was really getting hung up on purpose in my retirement, and I'm just like, it came to me one day. All you have to do is be kind to yourself and kind to others right now. That's your purpose. And
Well,
then,
One thing
then
at a time. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
your
just
compass for now.
yeah, and just, and this year's a year of learning and, stuff like that. But I was
Yeah.
pressuring myself,
Mhm.
Yeah, I've said love yourself first, most, and always. Love yourself like a fountain flowing over until it washes those around you. Love yourself eternally. And someone says, "Well, isn't that selfish?" No, that's the most generous thing you can do. Because to love yourself like that, you've had to surrender all the grievances and become present, and let the energy of love flow in and through you. It's the most generous healing thing you can do, is to love yourself with all there is, because nothing clings to you when you do that. Why? Because that's not self-loving. It's not self-loving to cling to your past and hold grievances. That's not self-loving. When you self-love and get it right, not selfish,
Mhm.
all that stuff don't cling to you. It just,
Ram Dass used to talk about they're like little hooks in you, these things. And you got to break
Yeah.
these things out and just, yeah.
I think of them as stickers and briars. You go through the forest and you get these stickly briars,
Oh,
and you come out and you got all this stuff hanging on you. And all you did is walk through the forest. Well, that's kind of what it's like when you walk through our society. You come out the
mm.
other end and go, look at all this junk on me.
Mm, that's
And it
good.
doesn't just wash off, it's stuck. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So now I'm just enjoying talking. We got to go.
Okay. Thanks for
Okay,
everything.
guys. See you next week.
Good to
Thanks.
see
Yeah.
Can't
you all,
wait to put the
guys.
book. Bye-bye.
Oh, good.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys about the book. That's great.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking forward to reading it. Bye-bye. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.